Imagine this scenario more vividly and expansively. Because the context around the next-generation TV streaming device from the tech giant is not just a question of timing, but a question of relevance. Ecosystem pressure, hardware acceleration, competitive threat, and Apple's slow but calculated move into AI-powered living rooms. Apple has, as always, pushed forward its hardware strategy in waves. Driven by silicon progression, display evolution, machine learning expansion, and product cadence that keeps its core markets anticipating the next leap before the current one even cools on retail shelves. And this year alone, the company has delivered an avalanche of new products like the entry-positioned smartphone variant called the iPhone 16 East, the mainstream iPhone 17 models including the iPhone 17 Pro, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and the iPhone 17 Air, alongside tablets like the iPad Air 2025, the iPad Pro 2025 M5, portable laptops like the 14-inch 2024 M4 MacBook Pro and 16-inch 2024 MacBook Pro, and even spatial computing hardware like the Vision Pro 2. Yet, in your entertainment hub-focused living space, you're still looking at a streaming device that has, in contrast to the company's broader arc of upgrades, remained virtually unchanged since its most recent iteration, which launched in 2022, leaving power users, ecosystem buyers, gamers, filmmakers, and home cinema enthusiasts wondering how Apple will navigate the balance between design continuity and technological ambition without diluting the clarity of its lineup, or cannibalizing emerging AI hardware narratives that are already deployed elsewhere. Across home automation assistants like the HomePod Mini 2025, mobile operating systems like iOS 19, and desktop OS platforms like Mac OS Sequoia, the mystery around the release date has triggered speculation from a constellation of leakers, product analysts, regulatory sightings, supply chain whispers, certification filings, community debates, and strategy disassembly across global tech forums like Reddit r, Apple TV, rumor aggregation sites like 9to5Mac, and insider leak sources housed on YouTube channels like Max Tech, iJustine, and Merwasithibas. But the most reliable signals have repeatedly circled back to the same cardinal analyst, Mark Gurman, whose reporting on Apple product timelines via Bloomberg has long been considered one of the strongest barometers of legitimacy. And he observed recently that Apple TV 4K third generation stock has been visibly shrinking in official Apple retail stores across regions including the United States. A classic inventory reduction pattern that often precedes a quiet spec refresh wave or a spring keynote hardware insertion, especially for devices that matter but don't demand a stage-dominant fall keynote like WDC or September iPhone event visibility. October and November passed without announcement, which wasn't entirely surprising because Apple rarely stacks announcements this late unless it is for ecosystem accessories or audio hardware like the 2016 AirPods and 2020 AirPods Max, both considered anomalies in Apple's product calendar, and so, as of now, the logical conclusion is that spring 2025, perhaps March, seems like the most plausible launch slot for what insiders call the OP041 model, which appeared in the FCC database earlier this year, confirming that Apple has already locked the industrial and silicon architecture and is simply completing certification clearance before mass packaging. Regional retail seating and firmware optimization can be finalized for launch season. Now, let's talk about hardware because this is where the real tension lives. The Apple TV 4K third generation currently runs the A15 Bionic chipset, a chip that debuted in the iPhone 13 family and performs well for streaming pipelines. HEVC decode, hardware-accelerated HDR10 processing, and casual Apple Arcade gaming titles like Oceanhorn 2 and Sneaky Sasquatch. But it is nowhere near enough thermal headroom or neural compute capacity to support Apple Intelligence demands. Real AAA console-tier illusions, or expanded computational upgrades that Apple is pushing into smaller home devices, especially given that the iPhone 17 Pro class chipset, A17 Pro, already handles complex depth maps, LiDAR-assisted modeling, AI-based pose estimation. Console-tier game ports like Assassin's Creed Mirage and Death Stranding, Director's Cut, and media workflows at render-heavy capacity on screen sizes that weigh under 7 ounces. So when leaks hinted that the next Apple TV 4K generation could adopt the iPhone A17 Pro Class chip, the entire community lit up with anticipation because that means the box could finally target faster readout gameplay. GPU-accelerated game textures. AI context streaming, smoother UI navigation, higher storage pipelines, and the ability to profile. Machine learning features like smarter Siri search that understands natural language context in commands such as "Show me thriller movies I watched last night," or "Resume whatever." Courtroom show I streamed last Friday, and track backward the title ID from. Streaming logs and subscription account. States to identify active subscriptions like Netflix, YouTube Premium, Amazon Prime Video, and Disney Plus before displaying content or pulling metadata such as Rotten Tomatoes audience scores or IMDb ratings. Midstream for background AI summarization and content. Discovery that have never lived natively inside the Apple TV before because the current model is intelligence void beyond basic voice assistance. But Apple wants its AI hardware narrative to scale beyond the phone and desktop into the heart of its home entertainment system, which is why the upcoming iPadOS 19 update is expected to merge conversational Siri intelligence with tracking patterns already seen in flagship tablets like the A7R5 gives M4 class iPad Pro tilt screen interface philosophy, and future device-to-device ecosystem gestures supported through Bluetooth 5.4, which was referenced recently in the FCC filing, alongside Wi-Fi 7 support through Apple's own custom wireless chip first rumored in devices like the iPhone 17 family's N1 transmission hardware, promising not just faster multi-gigabit bandwidth for 8K, upscaled AirPlay streams or casual AAA console illusion gaming ports, but also lower latency, stronger signal stability, durability, dense environment resilience when multiple household IoT devices are also active on the same network, such as Matter-compliant devices including Smart Hub climates controlled through Google Home, Amazon Alexa, and Apple HomeKit, all of which compete for bandwidth in households where consumers stream 4K HDR content or game AAA ports using wireless pathways. A key axis Apple may be targeting in the new hardware because its competitors like Roku Ultra 2024, Roku Stream